G'day guys, how you going? It's Justin Allen here with my Good Advice channel, here to give you good advice for a better future. Right, what I'm talking about today is, I'm talking about tyres for Uber, just giving you some pointers and this and that. Right, so generally, like with Uber, I find like you gotta be conscious of your tyres. To like you need to have them up to par for if you're gonna get it inspected. So I find like you gotta also keep in mind about tyre wear for your customers, because it is a liability to have your tyres up to par. So you gotta sort of have self-discipline to inspect your tyres when you wash your car, and just check them regularly and see whether they're worn out on one side, or how much gap you can check with a coin or just your finger. There's some people say to use a match head to check how much tread's left. So you've got to keep in mind that you've got to keep on having your tyres up to standard so you don't get in trouble. So especially in the rain, if you have an accident with Uber, you might be in a bit of a strife and more likely to have an accident if your tyres are a bit bald. Especially in the rain with a carload, you increase your chances of having an accident. So I'm just making you aware to like, I'll show you a picture of my tyres so you can keep in mind. I'm going to get new tyres on my car today, and I'll give you a price and this and that. So I'll show you a picture of the tyres, and I find that the front tyres wear out quicker, and generally you need to rotate your tyres every 10 to 15,000 because the front tyres cop more wear at the corners. So if you put them at the back, obviously you're not going to take corners in the back, and it'll prolong the life of your tyres. The current tyres on my car are done pretty well. They're from the factory. They've currently got me to 115,000, which is pretty impressive. And I drive pretty sensibly. I drive slow and cautious, and you have to with Uber, I suppose. But you gotta. I don't drive like a rev head. And also, I'll give you a quick short show now. All right. So the tyres on the car are Mitchum's. You can see down here. Mitchum. And I'll show you the tyre. It's not too bad, but it's on its way out on this one. This tyre is the same tyre. I've found that the other side is more worn. So on this side, they're all got the same tyres on there. You can see this one is bored on the side, so this one definitely needs changing. Not very good lighting, but this one's probably the worst one, I think. And the front one. You can definitely see this one's really gone. G'day guys, right, I want to give you some more pointers and talking tyres. Right, first tip would be to get on the phone and make a booking. Don't just rock up, that they might not have time for you and they might be too busy and you're just going to be wasting your time, and also you can get a few quotes. So just check out what your wheel is before you get on the phone. My car's a 16 inch and you can get all the information on your rim and tyre, or look up in the manual internet, so you know what to quote the price for. And I recommend getting a few quotes before you commit yourself. And also with the tyres, I believe going with the medium price tyres. I went with Bob Jane all-rounders. I'm not saying to go get them, but I'm just saying what I've went with. So keep that in mind. If you buy the cheap tyres, they generally will wear out quicker and not have the very good traction in the rain, and sometimes they're a soft compound and not very good. I've gotten cheap nasty tyres when I was younger. I don't recommend them. And also, not to buy the most expensive tyre either, because if you buy the expensive ones, you're just probably overspending for what you're using for. You don't really need high traction. You're not a race car driver, you're an Uber driver. So keep that in mind. You're just going to be throwing your money down the drain. And also keep in mind that I found that with sedans that you get more life out of your tyres too. So my other car was a Prius C and I only got I think about 80,000, and then I was due for new tyres, and this car got 115,000, so I'm pretty wrapped. It's much more Ks, much more value out of the sedan, even though you paid just that slight bit more for the tyres. And also you can claim on tax, so keep your receipt and pay by FBOS, I recommend, so you've got a guaranteed way of claiming, and that's how I prefer to claim all my taxes. Just print out your bank statements and check out my clip Pay Yourself First. It's got some good ideas on how to put money aside, so I recommend just putting money aside each week once you get paid, so you've got allowed for this expense, so it doesn't stuff you up having a $500 bill coming in. So keep that in mind. The driving, it feels much better when you drive. The car drives like a new car. It's much more lighter steering. You do feel it a bit more grippier when you're turning, so it's much better, and it looks like a new car now with new tyres. And you feel like you're doing the right thing when you got customers in your car. You shouldn't run your tyres down to a complete bald, trying to scrape every dollar out of them. It might cause you to have an accident, and it's just not worth it. You know, you can only stop and corner as good as your tyres are. So, you know, it's not worth completely run them down to bald, just trying to get scraped that last dollar out of them. It might cost you more in the long run for having an accident and then having time off getting your car fixed, and then you have to get tyres as well. So keep that in mind. And the tyre pressure, I recommend 30 psi to 32 psi. I find that works pretty fine. You've got to keep in mind not to have the pressure too low or too high, because it can cause ballooning or sagging in the tyre and will wear the tyre out more quicker, rather the tyre being flat or be up or down. So you've got to keep that in mind. Check your pressure once or twice a month when you get your fuel. So keep that in mind. And on to getting your tyre wheel rotation and wheel alignment, because it can make your tyres last much longer, prevent them wearing out at the end of the tyre. And also you've got to put the front tyres on the back so you get the most life out of your tyres, because if you just left them on the front for the whole time, say 80,000, you know, they'd wear out very quickly, because it's going to, you know, use all the corners, and the tyres just ain't going to last as long. You've got no choice to either do it yourself or take it down there. That's one thing good about Bob Jane. They do provide a free steering wheel alignment and tyre balance included, which is valued at $55. And you can see I've shown you they give you some discount coupons as well, which is a pretty good idea. So keep that in mind. And also I found that when you got new tyres, you get stones stuck in your tyre, so keep that in mind. You do notice, like if you go off road or whatever, you can hear them get in your tyre, so you've got to flick them out. And at night you can notice them, and when you're driving slow you can hear them sometimes when you drive and hit that annoying stone in your tire. And also what I recommend, like, since you're going to be there for an hour and a half, make the most of the time while you're waiting for your car to get repaired. I'm one of those people, I believe in not wasting time. That's how you get the most out of your life. So what I did is I went down to Repco and bought an oil filter, and I bought front headlights and number plate tail lights. So I've got them on standby in my car because I blew a front bulb, and they keep not lasting that long, and I've had to, they tend to not last that long in this car. I think it needs to have an earthing issue or something. So it's good to have that on standby and not waste time. And also I got me lunch, got a coffee. You can make phone calls, you can have a rest, you can walk around the shopping centre, just get on top of the other jobs that you've got to do, other tasks. Don't waste that hour and a half, keep that in mind. And also one last tip before I go is I'd have to say, make sure that you book in your car ASAP to get inspected again. It might be a bit of a hassle to get your car inspected, but it happened to me before in my other car. I got new tyres on the car, right? And then I was going to join Taxify, and I went down and waited to get my car inspected for about, it was at least 45 minutes. And then they knocked back my front tyre even though it was 2 months old, because it was worn just very slightly on the corner. So keep that in mind, that to do that, what I said, like, make sure you get your tyres wheel alignment and rotated, so that they're not going to wear out quickly like that car did. And also so you don't have the hassle of being knocked back. So while the tyres are new, they can't knock you back, but if you say your car's not due for a while, but if you do it now, it's much better basically, because if you wait another 6 months and then get your car inspected, you might have to be up for new tyres even though they're not fully worn out. They're only just under what their criteria is. So keep that in mind. Alright guys, hope you like this clip. Check out my other clips. I'd really appreciate if you subscribe. Every person counts. Alright, thank you.